So I think we will get started here as people continue to populate the chat there and continue to get some participants. But welcome again. My name is Nico Karagozian. I have the pleasure of serving as the CEO of the Ohio University Foundation. Really grateful to spend this evening with you for our fifth Sense of Place. This is a wonderful virtual event that has been a result of COVID and kind of the way we change and the way we've changed how we do our events. And it's been a wonderful first four sessions, and grateful to have you with us tonight as we talk about Templeton Blackburn Alumni Memorial Auditorium, which I think is obviously a special place to all our panelists here tonight, and hopefully to you as well. And we look forward to your participation again in the chat. Anything that comes up, memory, question, thought about campus, about Ahmad, anything, please feel free to jump in there. I would like to introduce our panelists who will tell you a little bit more about themselves when we get started. Ohio University's 21st president, Dr. Dwayne Nellis, Connie Lawson Davis, Shar Kopchik, Travis Gatling, Ravi Harley, and I also want to thank John Rogers and Jackie Weber on the University Advancement team, who have done a great job of putting these together, coming up with ideas, gathering panelists, and making sure that things go off without a hitch. So welcome to all of them tonight. And I think we will get started with our official program. So I would like to ask each of our panelists to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about your connection to Ohio University. If you're a Bobcat, please let us know that also, maybe when you graduated and what your degree is in. And then after the video that we're going to show, we'll have an opportunity to talk a little bit more about this special place. But Connie, can we start with you and tell us a little bit about your connection to OU? And it's all yours.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to talk with you, although it be virtual. As you know, my name is Connie Lawson Davis. I graduated from Ohio University in 1967 with a BSED, and I am a former member of the Ohio University Alumni Association Board of Directors. And I'm just missing Athens. I'm having withdrawal, and I hope the pandemic is over soon and that the vaccine works.
Thank you, Connie. And it is great to see you. I feel like when I've been at OU for 3 years, and I feel like my first year I got to see you almost every weekend, and now it feels like it's been a long time. So, but grateful for
withdrawal.
You. Yes, absolutely. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you a little bit more. Shar, we'll hand it off to you.
Okay, hi, I'm Shar Kopchik. My official title is the Assistant Dean of Students for Campus Involvement. Yes, I am a Bobcat. My husband and I relocated here in 1988, and I got a master's degree in college student personnel, and now I bleed green.
Thank you, Shar, and great to see you, and thanks for joining us. Shar, I will remember for my first homecoming when I was on campus, got to spend some time with her as she helped pass out hot chocolate to hundreds of students. I miss those days and hope we can get back to that very soon. Travis, I will hand it off to you.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm Travis Gatling, the director of the School of Dance in the College of Fine Arts. No, I'm not a Bobcat, but as I was telling my fellow panelists, this is my 22nd year here at Ohio University, so I'll accept my honorary Bobcatness. So thank you.
Thanks, Travis. I would say 22 years qualifies for being an honorary Bobcat. So welcome, and glad to have you here as well. Ravi, our student who is joining us tonight, I will hand it off to you.
Good evening. My name is Ravi Harley. I'm a current student at Ohio University. I'm going to be graduating this May, and I'm actually a biology student, but I'm also involved in Student Alumni Board on campus, as well as Dr. Nellis's Presidential Leadership Society.
Great. Thank you, Ravi, and thanks for joining us here, and as well for the work that you do separate from your classes and everything you have to do as a student. You're obviously very actively involved in a lot on campus, and we're grateful for that and for you joining us tonight. So I see there's some folks that are continuing to put things in the chat. That's wonderful. Please keep that going throughout the evening, and we will keep an eye on that. If you have questions, I'll make sure to ask them to our panelists, and please keep that going throughout the night. So I know that Templeton Blackburn Alumni Memorial Auditorium is a very special part of Ohio University and a very special place on campus. And I look forward to sharing a brief video about the auditorium right now with all of you. And then after we watch that together, we'll go back to our panelists, open it up for some conversation there, and then some questions as well. So with that, I will hand it over to Jackie and John, who are going to show you the video. So please enjoy.
The Templeton Blackburn Alumni Memorial Auditorium lies in the heart of Athens, serving as a space where the Ohio University and surrounding communities can enjoy a wide variety of events, from prominent musicians to keynote speakers to nationally touring musicals and plays. Located on historic College Green, this iconic venue has brought students, faculty, staff, and residents of Athens and the region together to share ideas in the arts for nearly 100 years. Built in 1928 to fulfill the university's need for a large event space, Memorial Auditorium has its roots in the generosity of the Ohio University community. The Alumni Board led a fundraising effort targeting not only alumni, but current students and faculty members as well. In addition to generous donations from graduates, nearly every student pledged $20 and nearly every faculty member contributed 10% of 1 year's salary to support the construction project. To honor their generosity, the names of each contributor were sealed in the cornerstone of the auditorium. Throughout the 20th century, the 2,500-seat auditorium served a variety of uses, including as a dramatic theater, movie theater, lecture hall, offices, and continuing education venue for conferences and workshops. The building has also hosted many distinguished guests, whose visits are commemorated by the bronze plaques on the building's west exterior wall. Included on this list of notable speakers are Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Eleanor Roosevelt, and U.S. Presidents Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Carter, and Obama. In 1993, the building was rededicated as the Templeton Blackburn Alumni Memorial Auditorium in honor of John Templeton and Martha Jane Hunley Blackburn, the first Black man and Black woman to graduate from Ohio University. When Templeton, who was born a slave and freed in 1813, graduated in 1828, he became just the fourth Black person to graduate from a U.S. college. An educator himself, he co-edited The Mystery, a Black newspaper that fought for racial equality. Martha Jane Hunley Blackburn received her bachelor's degree in education in 1916 and went on to teach home economics in Ohio and West Virginia. To further preserve the legacy of Templeton and Blackburn and honor all those who have followed in their footsteps, the African American Alumni Heritage Wall was dedicated in the building's east portico in 1999. All African American alumni may be recognized by adding their name, as well as the names of those who were instrumental in helping them achieve their educational goals, to the wall in celebration of this ongoing collective story of achievement. Today, the Templeton Blackburn Alumni Memorial Auditorium is the primary home of the Ohio University Performing Arts and Concerts Series, which has presented and produced thousands of performances, lectures, and events over its 60-year history. These events educate, engage, and entertain the university and Southeast Ohio communities by bringing the finest performers and thinkers from around the world to Appalachian, Ohio, programming typically found only in larger metropolitan cities. Through partnerships between the university and area schools, K-12 students regularly attend these events, setting the stage for countless moments of discovery through arts encounters they might not otherwise experience. Notable past performers include Ladysmith Black Mambazo, the Moscow Circus, the Cincinnati Ballet, Jerry Seinfeld, Mountain Stage, the Tokyo Quartet, Rent, and Graham Nash, among so many more. Do you have a favorite memory of a performance at Memorial Auditorium? Since its start as a truly community-funded space, the Templeton Blackburn Alumni Memorial Auditorium's legacy has been built on providing all those in the Ohio University and area communities a venue to experience world-class arts performances, share and debate ideas, and celebrate some of the university's most historic moments. A legacy that is sure to continue for years to come.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you to our university communications and marketing team for putting that outstanding video together. We're really grateful for their work on that, and I hope that brought back some memories. And it made me think that I wish I saw Jackie posted something in the chat about Jerry Seinfeld. I would have enjoyed to have seen Jerry Seinfeld in Memorial Auditorium. So that must have been a fun evening. But Shar, maybe we could start things off with you. I know you have a unique perspective and experience with the facility, and maybe you'd like to jump in and talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. I've had the pleasure for the past 12 years to work with Drew Holzapfel to present the Performing Arts and Concert Series and other major programs that are held on the special weekends and performances, and working with student groups. And it has just been such an amazing experience. Jackie said, well, Shar, talk a little bit about your favorite memory. You know, I get really emotional because of everything that I have seen happen in Memorial Auditorium. My favorite memory are the memories that we are helping other people create. I just look at I saw in the chat that some of you there were former student employees. Well, we're still doing that. And now whether our students would say that this was a fond memory, we have students working with our tech crew that help load in at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then they work getting the stage set up and doing and supporting our tech crew. What a great learning experience for them. We have our student workers who are wanting to be program planners, and they work with us doing hospitality and working in the green room. And if you would ask them, they have a plethora of memories, especially interacting with these nationally known performers. But then I look and I try and be up in the lobby before all of the performances. And I watch people come in. I watch our students and I watch our families excited to see the shows, and grandparents bringing their children, and watching moms with their students for Mom's Weekend, and the enjoyment that they get out of these performances. And I look at the couples who one begrudgingly goes with the other because it's not something that they really want to see. For example, my husband. He's a good sport and he goes to all the performances with me. But, you know, Kenny G was not one of his favorites, but he went. And at the end of the show, I will say this is one of his favorite memories because he was impressed with the talent of Kenny G. But what really pulls at my heartstrings is our arts and education program. Seeing the K through 12 students coming from the regional schools in to see performances that they may never have had the opportunity to see, and watch them come in being so excited and sitting in there and watching them through the performances. And then when they leave, the joy on their faces and thanking us. And this is where I'm going to get emotional. One of the sweetest things, the teachers always have them write thank you notes, and they sent them to us. And one just pulled at my heartstrings. And you talk about creating memories. It was a little girl who said, I haven't been happy for a long time. And today I'm happy. So I am just grateful to be able to have the job that I have, to be part of Ohio University that helps create all of these wonderful memories for our students, for our community members, for our faculty and staff. And I'm sure all of you have experienced some of the things that I just talked about. And now I'm going to turn it over to Travis because he's going to talk about all the wonderful things that the College of Fine Arts does in MEMOD.
Yes. So thank you, Shar. That was beautiful. So, yes, I'm going to talk a little bit about all the things that the College of Fine Arts do in Memorial Auditorium, a little bit about the importance to the academic community here. So, Memorial Auditorium has great significance and importance to the academic community. And I'll go even further to say the Athens community at large. Um, I mean, there's always something for everyone through the numerous and diverse performances and presentations that are hosted in this space, um, ranging from renowned lecturers and speakers to music artists of all genres, touring Broadway shows, professional dance companies, comedians, other performing arts. Um, so it's in Memorial Auditorium where we are able to bring these experiences to Ohio University. Um, and as it was mentioned in the video, and many of these experiences, our students and community members may not otherwise get to experience on a regular basis unless they go to a larger, more metropolitan city. So, a special place indeed in bringing so many presentations and parts of the world to Ohio University. And for the university to realize that is so important for our students to have that exposure to these types of
Mhm.
things is very admirable and something that I personally value, and I know many others do as well, as Shar mentioned so beautifully and eloquently. Just briefly, one of my most memorable experiences was when Bobby McFerrin, the jazz vocalist, he performed. And I actually got an opportunity to get on stage with another colleague of mine to dance while we did an improvisation together. He did the vocals, we did the dancing, and it wasn't on the program, so it was a nice surprise to everyone in the audience. So that was a great experience for me. Um, and just to give you an idea of the many ways that we utilize this space, you know, um, we have used it for many occasions. The College of Fine Arts, we host the opening session of Experience the Arts Day. This is where we invite high school students from around the state of Ohio and some of the bordering states to visit campus and their areas of interest in the fine arts. So prospective students, they come to campus and they get to see this majestic theater space, especially as students interested in
Mhm.
fine arts, because they're, oh wow, I may be able to perform in this space at some point. I know that the School of Music uses it both as a classroom and a performance space for their music ensembles. So um, it serves as a learning facility and space, a classroom for our students. In dance, we produce two major performances in that space. One is our winter dance concert, where we present faculty and guest artists choreography, and of course, it's performed by our students. The other is the World Music and Dance Concert, which is a collaborative performance between the schools of dance and music. It features music and dance forms from around the world, again, performed by faculty and guest artists, and of course, our students. Um, so, for fine arts and just speaking for dance specifically, when we are in Memorial Auditorium, our students get a first-hand glimpse at what their professional dance careers might look like, whether they're performing or working the technical production in a professional theater space. Um, it's experiential learning at its finest. It's all those things, experiential learning, it's hands-on, it's career-oriented learning, uh, it's transformative learning. And and I mean that literally when I say transformative learning, not because it's a buzzword, but to see our students go into that space, they transform from being students who are majoring in dance to professional dance artists. That's how that space um, uh, impacts them. They walk into that space and they feel the majesty of it. They feel the professionalism of it, and so it's just amazing to see that happen. And like I said, a special place indeed. And so I'll stop there because I too might get emotional. So
Well, thank you both. I really enjoyed hearing your perspectives, and obviously your passion was evident as you spoke about your experiences and what it's meant to you and how you've seen it profoundly affect others. So thank you both so much for sharing that. I would like to now hand it off to our student perspective. Robbie, if you could maybe talk a little bit about your experience and some of the things that Memorial Auditorium has meant to you.
Yeah, thank you, Nico. So, as a biology student, I don't have super extensive experience with Memorial Auditorium, but it was actually where I had my first experience at Ohio University when I actually got to come here as part of the high school honor band when I was a senior. So that was a very meaningful experience for me. Just getting to like see the campus in that sort of sense and being able to perform there as my first experience in the building. And then so once I came here as a student, it was like an important reference for me on campus to sort of give me a sort of grounding place. And I was able to play in the symphonic band as a freshman. And so music being something that was important to me in high school, that was a super great way to transition into college and sort of made that whole process easier for me. And sort of reiterating what Shar and Travis have said about the impact on the community, I can definitely see that. And growing up in a college town, I definitely know that the performance arts that the college brings in are super important to the community, and that's even more true here in Athens. And so um, I really respect everything that Memon is able to put on, and I really enjoyed learning about it more in that video that we just saw.
Ravi, tell us, I mean, a lot of us who work here, have interacted with students over the last year, but maybe for some of the folks that are joining us, and could you maybe talk a little bit about your experience as a student over the last year? It's obviously unprecedented, and I have a daughter who's a junior at OU, and it's obviously been a challenge for everybody. But maybe if you can share a little bit about kind of how you've managed to stay involved and how you've managed to keep things going with your schoolwork and everything.
Yeah, so it's definitely been a process of adapting, but luckily it's been made pretty easy by at least my professors. They've been very good at collaborating with students and making sure that everybody's on the same page, because it's like they're not used to teaching online. We're not used to learning on this sort of platform. So that's been really good that we've been able to communicate well. And then I'm currently the president of Student Alumni Board, and so we've had to go through transitioning all of that to online. We were able to do some pretty successful events for virtual homecoming, but it's been honestly a really interesting perspective because we've been able to reach a lot more people now that everything's online. So we're kind of learning a lot about how we can change how we're organizing things in the future and really be more inclusive to more Bobcats across the country and the world.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's amazing how we've been able to reach out and connect with so many more Bobcats than we used to be able to do in person. So these virtual events have been incredibly positive. But Robbie, thanks so much for everything you continue to do, and obviously a very trying time to be in college. But appreciate your work as a presidential leader and student alumni board. And you showed us up all tonight by wearing a suit and tie. I feel very underdressed, but very very well done, and really grateful for you joining us tonight. And thanks for your insight. So with that, I would like to hand it off to one of the first Bobcats I met a couple years ago when I started here, and somebody that I think most of you have known and spent time with, and really grateful that she's joined us tonight. Connie Lawson Davis, I will hand it off to you, and you can talk a little bit about your interactions with the auditorium as well as other experiences here on campus.
Okay, thank you, Nico. When, I always hesitate because I think I'm the senior person here. I was at Ohio University from 1963 to 1967. And when I came to Ohio University, it was just MemAud. And I think my most outstanding memory or memories of MemAud were what we called MIA, and that was long before, well, it was a while before Vietnam and missing in action came into vogue. Then it was movies in auditorium. And for students who didn't have monetary resources, it was a wonderful thing to be able to go and see a movie twice a week for a quarter. So being able to go and see movies, even though they weren't first run features, it was just the idea of being able to go and to have that time to relax and to share those experiences with your fellow students. One of the things that I remember best is that there was a tearjerker. I was trying to remember the name of the movie. It was either The Days of Wine and Roses or oh goodness, I should have written it down. Anyway, as we were coming out of MemAud, all the girls were sniffing and wiping their eyes. And then as we looked around, some of the guys were too. But they were so afraid that they would get teased by the other fellows that they were working very hard to camouflage their emotions. But MemAud has a lot of different memories for me because my experiences with MemAud have just expanded through the years. As I said before, when I first attended Ohio University, it was just plain MemAud, Memorial Auditorium. And then, as was mentioned in the presentation, it became Templeton Blackburn Alumni Memorial Auditorium. And I understand that the renaming of the auditorium was a student-led initiative. I don't have details, but that would be a very interesting thing to kind of research. Another thing about Memorial Auditorium, when I was there was no East Lobby. The East Lobby was built when MemAud was remodeled. And I think the dedication was in 1999 when it was reopened. And the East Lobby is named after Dr. Patricia A. Ackerman, who is an African-American secondary educator. She was the president of the board, and she named the auditorium as part of her contribution to the Promise Lives campaign. And as you saw again in the feature, The African American Heritage Wall is there. And each one of those plaques represents students who usually of African American descent who have purchased a plaque to commemorate either themselves or a parent or supporters, people who were really meaningful to them in their pursuit of education at Ohio University. And for those of you who are interested, you can still purchase a plaque and have your name placed on that wall. And the proceeds go to the Urban Scholars Program. Something else that was kind of interesting, I don't hear the side of Memmott that faces the College Green referred to as the West Portico. And that's what we called it when we were there, the West Portico of Memmott. And a lot of the events that took place actually took place outside of Memmott at the West Portico. Some of the speakers that were mentioned earlier spoke outside, and the students were actually on the College Green. It was just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful setting, because when I came, the elms were still there, the McGuffey elms. And later they succumbed to, it wasn't a virus, but a fungus or some type of elm disease, and a lot of them had to be cut down. But Memmott is just a fixture there. I guess Memmott for me is kind of like what Baker Center would be for Ravi now. It was the center of activities. It was a place where we created memories. And it's a place that's very special to me, because I think my graduating class in 1967 was the last class that graduated from the College Green. And our speakers spoke from the West Portico of Memmott. I don't know if many of you noticed, but there were stars on the wall of the main lobby of Memmott. And those were purchased, or they were put there to commemorate donations made to the university. So it's a beautiful thing. If you go, or when you go to Memmott, look in the main lobby and look on the wall. You may find someone that you know there. I know that there are a number of people that I'm familiar with whose names are on the wall. Okay. Somebody let me know when my time is up. How am I doing, Nico?
You're doing great. You're doing great, Connie. So,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we can.
Oh, one other thing.
No, go ahead.
When Memmott was renamed to become the Templeton Blackburn Alumni Memorial Auditorium, the descendants of John Templeton and Martha Jane Huntley Blackburn were in attendance. So it was truly a memorable occasion. So Memmott,
it's a special place.
It really is.
Yeah, it really is.
Place.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that insight and perspective. And I think it's, incredibly important to understand the history. It's helpful to me as someone who's only been here 3 years to hear all these stories and to read in the chat and to see these different terms. I did see someone who I think said they're the class of 1962 and remember MIA, and then it was still called MIA in 1971 when they were there. So it's always fascinating for me as someone relatively new here to learn more about Memmott and all these wonderful places on campus. So thank you, Connie, for that perspective.
Welcome.
I appreciate it. So with that, I would like, are you with us? Okay, Connie, go ahead. On to the next, the next agenda item.
Yes, it gives me great pleasure to introduce a very special person. And we were talking about doing a little dance to my guy as I introduced him. But it pleases me very much to present to some and introduce to others the 21st president of Ohio University, Dr. M. Dwayne Nellis. Dr. Nellis? I think he's having technical
Yeah, so
difficulties.
I do know that, obviously here in Athens, we were hit with some ice and snow, and I'm sure most people that are joining us were hit with some sort of weather. So Dr. Nellis did tell us that he was having some connection issues. So we will wait on him rejoining us. I saw he was with us a couple minutes ago, must have dropped off again. But Shar, Travis, anything that maybe Connie spoke about that kind of reminded you of something, or anything else you want to add. And while you're doing that, I can go through the panels, the chat, and see if there's any questions maybe that we can ask as well.
Well, I just want to add that programming has not stopped, that we are doing a lot of virtual programming, trying to reach out, and I invite everyone. We have a virtual program tonight as part of our performing arts series. It's called Empire Wild. And if you just go to the Performing Arts Series website, there's a listing of all of our virtual programs, and you can just, they're all live streamed. A lot of the programs that we are also doing in conjunction with the College of Fine Arts are up too, that are recorded, and people can view them at their leisure. So we're trying to keep everyone engaged in the arts, even though we can't be in the building. But we just can't wait to get back into the building and have it come alive again, because it's just so quiet there right now.
Yeah, I'm sure. And we'll make sure, John or Jackie, if maybe we can put the link to the programming there in the chat, so people have access to it. And there we go. So thank you, Barb, for putting that in there. So yeah, please click on that and take a look at some of the different activities that are taking place. But lots of good memories here that I'm seeing people post about, including Marching 110 concerts. Well, there was a comment about the great MLK snowstorm of 1994. That must have been a interesting time here. Sorry, I'm just trying to scroll through here, and I think there was, and I know Dr. Nellis has still not been able to come back. I know there was a question in there about how we continue to maintain our facilities as we obviously deal with challenging budgets at times. And I would say that one thing that I know Dr. Nellis and the Board of Trustees recognize and acknowledges the importance of the buildings on campus. This is, part of Ohio University, and part of the history are these amazing buildings, including Memorial Auditorium. And, I think some of the investments that have taken place, some recent ones over the last couple of years, we just finished a renovation at the Conacher Alumni Center. There was obviously some wonderful work done at Ellis Hall. The new building going up, Heritage Hall for the Heritage College of Medicine. Renovations taking place at the Ridges. The university continues to invest up there. And how we balance investing in facilities with kind of the new normal that we're facing as an institution, with do we need to have the same physical footprint of people working in offices, and how do we balance kind of the new world here that we have post COVID. But I know that the maintenance of these buildings is a priority. A lot of the work we do in fundraising goes to support bricks and mortar as well, and making sure that we're keeping that look that so many people are drawn to. The campus is like none other that I've ever seen, and the buildings are a big part of that. So despite everybody dealing with budget challenges, maintaining these buildings and keeping them used in important ways is something that's a priority of the institution. So that's a really good question, and I appreciate that being asked. So let me go through. And then thank you. Yeah, thank you, Jackie. Also follow the College of Fine Arts and the Performing Arts on Facebook. A great way to see things that are happening. Travis, anything, from your area, things that are going on now, that maybe people can follow or be part of?
Yeah, we have a few things going on. Of course, of course, we due to COVID, we can't be in a lot of physical spaces, but we have managed. Um, and we've been very creative because that's what we do. We're creative people. And I tell the students, you can't keep a good artist down. And so we've done, a variety of different performances, um, and where students or faculty, they choreographed something, video recorded it, and then they posted on a social media site for viewing. Um, our seniors, they did something really creative last year because part of their requirement is to fulfill a BFA capstone, which is choreography based. So we were trying to figure out how we're going to do this. So they came up with a brilliant idea of doing a drive-in dance concert. So they all everything was pre-recorded, and we reserved a parking lot, and cars would come in, and we set up a screen and speakers and everything, and the cars would pull in, and they actually were able to view the concert like you would going to a drive-in movie theater. So and in the spring, when things are getting warmer, we are exploring ideas of performances in um, outside spaces, alternative spaces, large spaces where people can be safely distanced. And many other ideas. We may explore the drive-in dance concert idea again. So we will definitely be doing something. So be on the lookout for that.
Very
That's
nice.
phenomenal.
Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
Okay, Connie, I'm going to hand it back to you. I think Dr. Nellis is back with us, so you can do another one of your an introduction.
I think you might be frozen though.
Oh boy. Now it took me a while to come up with that first one. Now you're gonna
You
I
can
have
shorten that. You can shorten this one.
yeah,
We're
okay, fine.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna try this one more time. I see that Dr. Nellis is there. Um, and now he's not.
He's not.
I
Okay.
think
Well,
I think it's going to be that kind of
I think it
evening.
is. I think it is too. I did want to, quickly here. I think it's Dr. Ackerman, because I see the name in the chat as Pack. So I'm guessing that's you, Dr. Ackerman. I'm really glad you're able to join us. And I really liked your message here, and I'll share it for those of you who can't see it. I have many Memorial Auditorium memories. However, over and above the establishment of the African American Alumni Heritage Wall, or having the East Lobby named in my honor, my commencement from OU in January of 1966 happened in Memorial Auditorium. So that's great. Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Ackerman. And thanks for all your support of the facility and all your support of Ohio University over the years. We're very grateful and thrilled that you're able to join us tonight. So thank you for sharing that memory. I see a couple new chats. Is a great program. If possible, we should have more to bring us back to the virtual campus. Thank you very much. Yes, please, share ideas with us. Let us know the types of things that you would like to see. We've done college green, we've done residential greens. We're obviously doing Memorial Auditorium. So, anything that we can do to connect you with campus, with Ohio University during this time, please reach out and let us know. Go to ohio.edu/alumni and send us a message. We'd love to be able to provide content that's meaningful to you as often as we can. So we really appreciate everybody joining us. As a reminder, there are more events coming, and then the past sessions that we've done are available as well. So I'll have Jackie or or John put those in the chat so you can access some of our past events. But with that, anything else from our panelists before we sign off? I don't think we were able to get Dr. Nellis on again, which is unfortunate, but he did warn us that that there were some issues with his internet connection. And so I'm seeing here towards the Cutler, Wilson, and McGuffey athletic complex, focusing on the convo. I'd love to do one on the convo, the history I've heard about the convo and how it came about. I think would be fascinating. So thank you so much for those recommendations. And we're grateful for everybody joining us tonight, talking about Memorial Auditorium. I will say, before we end, it's truly a gem for the entire campus, and how important the auditorium has been over the years to Ohio University and our overall academic mission. Obviously, Dr. Ackerman just shared that her commencement was there. We've had classes, the live entertainment, the Marching 110s annual varsity show, the Singing Men of Ohio, Women's Chorale. There's been so many things that have taken place there, and I think it's also a gem for the entire Ohio University and Athens community. Thank you, Shar, and your team and others. You do so much for our school-age children and so much for different community members that have the opportunity to experience these live performances, and goes so much further beyond just those of us on campus. And I think it's also important to add that the way the Ohio University came to have the auditorium is that students, faculty, and alumni contributed to its creation in the late 1920s. So it was actually philanthropy that led to the creation of this building that's such an important part of all our lives. So I think it's just speaks more to the history and speaks more to the generosity of so many people that have really made this university what it is. So with that, I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Again, thank you, Shar. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Ravi. John and Jackie, as usual, great job. Thanks for keeping us going. All of you for joining us. We're really grateful that you dedicated some time to spend with us. Thanks so much for your participation and everything all of you do for Ohio University. Stay warm. I think it's going to be in the 40s next week in Athens, so maybe some of this will melt, and maybe the next time we get together there'll be some green out our windows. But be safe, be well, continue to take care of yourself and your loved ones, and have a great night, everyone. Thanks so much.